Hey everyone, welcome to my next video. In this video, we are going to solve some problems. In other words, we are going to see some applications of the formula of finding out the sum of all the terms which comprise an AP, which we learned in the previous session. The formula that we learned is written here. As you see, it is Sn is equal to Na plus D n into n minus 1 by 2, where Sn denotes the summation of all the n terms of an AP. A denotes the usual notation, that is the first term of an AP. D is the common difference between the terms. So if you look in this example, it's a pretty interesting example which I have taken from exercise 5.3, question number 19 of CBSE 10 standard mathematics textbook. So the example says 200 logs are stacked in the following manner: 20 logs in the bottom row, 19 in the next row, and 18 in the row next to it, and so on. In how many rows are the 200 logs placed? So they're asking you number of rows and how many logs are in the topmost row. All right, so there are two parts to this question. First, you need to answer how many rows are there, how many rows are required to place this 200 logs, and how many logs are present in the topmost row. All right, so let's understand. So the total number of logs here are 200. All right, let's first understand this. The bottommost row contains 20 logs. The row above it contains 19 and the row above it contains 18. Okay, so as you go up on each row, the number of logs is reduced by 1. All right, so let's see. If I subtract 19 minus 20, I get minus 1. If I subtract 18 minus 19, I get minus 1. And if there is one more row above, you get 17 minus 18, you again get minus 1. So you get the same common difference for all the rows. In other words, these rows will form an AP. These rows are an AP with a common difference of minus 1. So here if you see, the common difference I have written as minus 1. Alright, the starting number here A is 20 because there are 20 logs in the first row. So this will be my A. 20 will be equal to A, that is the first row, or that is the first number which forms an AP. All right, and they're asking you to find out the total number of rows. So the value n here actually represents number of rows. All right, they have given that the total number of logs are 200. So if you add 20, 19, 18, so if you add this 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and so on, if you sum them up, you get 200 logs of wood. In other words, that number 200 indicates the total number of logs that are present in this AP, and hence you see Sn to be equal to 200. So I have this Sn equal to 200, and this equation represents the summation of all the terms which comprise an AP. So if I substitute these values here, the only difference and the only unknown is n. And what does n represent here? Number of rows. And I have written something t as well. So I want tn to be correct. So tn term denotes the number of logs in the nth row. So tn here denotes number of logs in nth row. Okay, so let's solve this. So if I substitute all the terms in the equation of Sn, I get Sn to be equal to 400. Oops, that is 200. So Sn will be equal to 200. That will be equal to, we need to find out n is unknown, A is 20, plus D is minus 1, and they say n into n minus 1 by 2. So n square minus n upon 2. Now if you see on the RHS, 2 is the denominator. So I'll evaluate the LCM of the RHS and I get 40n minus n square plus n upon 2, and the LHS remains unchanged to 200. Now if I simplify this, finally I get this equation. 400, if I multiply 2 with 200, equal to 40n plus n gives you 40n plus n gives you 41n minus n square. So after rearranging, I get n square minus 41n plus 400 equal to 0. So we get a quadratic in n. So let's solve this quadratic equation. So I'll just make a partition here. Now the factors of 41 will be, if you're good in quadratic, this will be easy. So we get n square minus 16n minus 25n plus 400 equal to 0. Now if I solve this, I get n minus 16 and n minus 25 to be equal to 0. In other words, it implies n is equal to 16 or n is equal to 25. So you either have 16 number of rows or you either have 25 number of rows. So which is the correct value? And to know that, we need to find out how many logs are there in the 16th row and the 25th row. So I would first evaluate T25. This T25 represents the number of logs which are present in the 25th row. And I'll use the equation for finding out the n term of an AP, that is a plus n minus 1 into d. So here a is actually 20 plus n minus 1. So it will be 25 minus 1, 24 into d, that is minus 1. The answer that you get here is 20 minus 24 is minus 4. Well, we cannot have logs in negative. How can we say that the number of logs is a negative number? It has to be either 0 or some positive whole number. So n is equal to 25 is not the correct value, since we get number of logs as negative. So we discard n is equal to 25. And let's check for 16. T16. So a remains unchanged to be 20 plus 16 minus 1 becomes 15 into minus 1, that is the common difference. So we get 20 minus 15 will be equal to 5. Yes. Yes. So if you want to find out the number of logs in any term, then I use the formula for arithmetic progression. So my correct answer here for this question will be number of rows 16, and in the topmost row, that is the 16th row, the number of logs of wood will be 5. So you require 16 rows for 200 logs of wood, and the topmost row, that is the 16th row from the bottom, will have 5 number of logs of wood. Pretty interesting example. So stay tuned for one more such example in my next video. Thank you.